Hello and welcome to the Doofcast, a film and TV podcast from Doof Media. I am your host, Scott Daly, and joining me, as always, is Matt Freeman. As long as he can say just one other word, just one word besides
Doof.
God damn it. I guess I just have to set you on fire now. Surely nothing bad will come of this.
Doof.
Oh, I feel bad. Not bad enough to not try to kill you 7 more times, but yeah.
Doof.
I mean, not bad, Matt. Actually, I'm pretty impressed. It's like it's been your 30-year dream to speak as Frankenstein.
Doof.
This week on the show, we continue our 9-part series, catching up with the Best Picture nominees before the 2026 Academy Awards. This week, part 2, Guillermo del Toro's 2025 remake, adaptation, perfect copy of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Matt, let's just get right into it. This is a long movie. Let's have you say a word besides doof now. if you could please, just because I'm freaking out over here. I'm uncomfortable.
Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist, brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and his tragic creation.
This movie was written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Christoph Waltz, and Mia Goth. Matt, Frankenstein 2025 edition. What'd you think?
It's not a terrible movie. I wish it wasn't so long. I really did get into it after about an hour. And then I really enjoyed it quite a lot after that point. I'm getting my griping old man business out of the way because I'm not going to pretend that I just adored the movie, but most of my problem with it was indeed the first, generously call it 45 minutes. It was just very slow and boring. But I feel like actually once we got the monster on the scene, it became pretty engaging and relatively well paced, actually.
I think I agree with that. Just to remind people that maybe haven't listened to our 12-part Deconstructing Guillermo del Toro series, I think this is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, I think this is the only time we have spent as much time diving deep into a director like we did that you came out the other end liking them less than you went in.
That's correct. I've had time to reflect on that too, and it's funny because I feel like I enjoyed the first of his movies that we covered, like Mimic, and then he sort of became a sort of self-parody as he went later in his career, in my opinion. A lot of people like him. That's fine. His mannerisms and his like monotonous like repetition of the same themes just really started to grate on me after a while.
Sure.
Actually, I think maybe this movie might have benefited from the fact that it's been a while since I watched a Del Toro movie, because he's absolutely hitting on all of those same themes again for the 13th time. But it doesn't bother me because like we haven't been covering it for half a year consistently.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, one of, I think, the most interesting things to talk about when kind of getting into this movie is kind of what you said, that one could argue that Guillermo del Toro has been making Frankenstein adaptations his entire career.
Or inspired by, at the very least. Yeah.
Sure. And this is kind of like, I mean, to quote another book of the period, this is his white whale of a story. I think he's quoted as saying, like, this is his dream project, getting to make Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and making the best version of Frankenstein that has ever been made has been like his dream. And so like, I'm very happy for him that he got to do this, right? It's very clear watching this movie how important the story is to him. I think that the movie is very reverential of the book, which I have not read, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I need to read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I think I will. I think I'm setting a goal for myself that this year I'm going to read this book because I've wanted to for a very long time. But I also exist in a world in which there have been literally 7,000 adaptations of Frankenstein. And so I feel like just like through cultural osmosis, I know basically the entire story of this book that I haven't read. And so like even me sitting here watching this movie, I was like, oh man, this is a very close adaptation to the book that I haven't read. And so it seems like he's really, really in love with the material and the source material. And I liked this movie. I was expecting to like it more than I did. So I was a little surprised at the fact that I didn't love it, because this movie feels to me a lot like Crimson Peak in the way it looks, the way it feels, the emotions of it. And I loved Crimson Peak.
Yeah.
And so I think really what I would love to do, and I'm so glad you mostly enjoyed the movie, but or maybe at the same level I am, because I think we can spend some time really inspecting why maybe this didn't work on us as well. I'm really curious on that for me, because I unlike you, I do really still love Guillermo del Toro, and I love the way he makes films. So kind of a surprising result for me.
Yeah. I guess one thing I'll say, if we're still just kind of talking about our like emotional reactions to it, I was very taken with the creature, with the monster.
Yes.
Adam, whatever you want to call him. The performance was really compelling and heartfelt. I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you try to have that kind of character, it can come off as sort of maudlin or manipulative. But I just really liked the character. I was invested in the creature's journey, and this really picks up once we get into part 2 of the movie, where it's the creature's tale.
Yeah.
But even prior to that, when we're, like, once the creature is created and the creature is now a character in the story, you're very quickly invested in this creature, because it's just a dramatically, empathically easy to identify with this poor newborn giant scary man who is clearly an innocent and trying to connect with his creator, and his creator is just this giant asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of a penalty the movie takes on, which may be unavoidable, honestly, is that its protagonist for the first half of the film is a completely unlikable person. And Oscar Isaac, I don't think it's like his fault, because it's like, well, that's the character. The character is an unlikable person, but for whatever, I guess the reason I bring up the performance is it's like I feel like there might have been a way that he could have like tweaked the performance to make us feel a little bit more humanity in Frankenstein. But maybe it's like, no, you're not supposed to. Frankenstein just is a massive jerk with a god complex, and he's awful, and he deserves everything that happens to him, and that's all fine. But the consequence is that you're just like really never on his side, and that's an hour and a half of a movie where you're basically following around a guy who you kind of despise.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're saying this, because this is exactly how I feel. And in fact, I'm going to go a step further. I do not think Oscar Isaac is very good in this movie at all. I mean, you said maybe it's not his fault, it's the character. I kind of think part of it's his fault. I was trying to think, because I was thinking about this movie, and I was trying to think like overall, like why do I feel so cold to it? And part of the reason is I feel like a lot of the movie feels lifeless, ironically, in the movie about bringing something to life. And I think that is because of the Frankenstein character. And especially the first part, because I think there is a version of the story, and I can't remember which adaptation I've seen of it, but a version of the story that really, really zooms in on this man obsessed with conquering death. This man who lost his mother, who he was incredibly close with, incredibly in love with, almost to maybe an uncomfortable amount, which I do think this movie leans into by casting Mia Goth as both Elizabeth, the woman he's in love with, and his mother. Very subtle there, Guillermo. But really leans into the tragedy of that, and this character as this guy like obsessed with overcoming that in a way that feels very relatable, right? I mean, like conquering death and the fear of death is a thing that we all have in some level in us. but I just never felt it in Oscar Isaac's performance. I just, like, from the first moment we cut to him as an adult giving the presentation in the courtroom or whatever, I just never connected to this is a guy that is like terrified of death, and kind of the flip back and forth between him being this passionate, sad, depressed person, but also this manic, slightly crazy person. I just didn't feel either side of that from Oscar Isaac. And all I felt was that he's an asshole, right? And I don't know. Again, I haven't read the book, but to me, the story of the reveal of how much Victor Frankenstein sucks is part of the journey of the book, and it was just evident from the get-go for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know why I was trying to spare Oscar Isaac's feelings.
Well, he is listening.
He's obviously listening. But I was honestly, I was like, I had that thought that you sometimes have when you're watching a movie where you're like, wait a minute, is this guy actually a bad actor? And then you start thinking, has he ever been in anything where I really thought he was that good? And then I was thinking about Ex Machina, and I'm like, yeah, he's kind of not the strongest part of that movie either.
Well, he's in Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen Brothers film, which I absolutely love, and I think he's incredible in it. But he's playing a very like reserved, depressed person. Like, he is like clinically depressed in that movie. And so I think he captures that very, very well in that movie. And I think here he just doesn't quite nail the things that I imagine when I imagine Victor Frankenstein. And, you know, you said maybe the point of the movie is that we're supposed to kind of hate him from the beginning and he sucks. But I think the ending of the movie argues otherwise. The ending of the movie that sees father and son reconcile in a way that does not happen in the book. I don't think they get like a moment right before Victor dies where they go, father, son. I believe the way the book ends is the monster breaks onto the ship just like he does, but Victor has already died and he carries his body into the wilderness. And that's the end of the story. So like in a thing where we're trying to have this moment of creation and creator finally reconcile in the last moments before his death, maybe we should care about him a little bit more. Maybe we should like him not entirely, but a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, first, I guess I'll say that the pathos of that final scene did work on me. I especially sort of from the monster's perspective, where all he has ever really wanted was acknowledgement from his father, and he receives that. I guess I agree with you. I didn't really feel the pathos from the other end, where it's like, oh, I've always been a monster, and I forgive you, and I'm just like, I don't really care. I don't really care about you deserve this, basically. I mean, you have basically earned every bit of this. You've just unnecessarily tormented this creature who is your child. And now we're here, and this is your fault. So anyway, I don't know.
I mean, look, I think Jacob Elordi does an excellent job in this movie. He is the MVP of the movie for me, for sure. I completely agree with you. He plays so Jacob Elordi is, I think, 6'5", so he's a very tall dude. He's a very big man. And he plays that very well. I don't know if they emphasized his size using special effects. It felt like they did. Maybe part of that is Oscar Isaac is actually kind of short, and so just putting the two of them together just worked. But he feels very big, and I love the way he shows the gentleness of this character while also being able to show the rage and the strength of the character. I think that's really important. And
I agree. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
He's it's a really well-rounded performance. For some reason, I thought Christian Bale was the monster. I don't know why I had this cast in my head. And the funny thing is that if you're looking at like a lithograph of this actor's face, it kind of looks like Christian Bale.
Sure.
So there was a moment in the movie where I was like, wait a second. This isn't Christian Bale at all. Anyway, this is just I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because it is no surprise to us that Guillermo del Toro favors the monster character. Like, I mean, let's be clear here. The book is always about that the monster is a victim of his creator, and his horrible mistreatment by society and by the person who made him turns him into this thing. But the book is also, and the other versions of the stories that I've seen is like Frankenstein or the monster kills dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like the story in the book is that the Elizabeth character who is in this movie, I think it's worth talking about what Guillermo del Toro slightly does and changes with her, because in the book she's just marrying Victor. There is no she's marrying his little brother and actually he loves her. There's none of that, right? So that's all added. But the monster basically says, I fucking hate you, Victor. I'm going to kill your wife on her wedding night. And then he does exactly that. Mm-hmm. He just does that. He also kills like anyone that knows, like he runs into Victor's brother, finds out he's Victor's brother and just says, oh, you're a Frankenstein? I'm going to kill you too. And I say that not to be like the book, actually everyone's reading the book wrong and the monster is actually a monster in the book. But it's just a little more complicated, and you can kind of understand Guillermo del Toro was very into the monster characters in all these stories. He wants to make the monster character as sympathetic as possible. So every moment where the creature would have killed someone originally in the story, something else happens, right?
Yeah. Or like he does kill the brother, but it's sort of in self-defense, you could argue, at least.
Yep. He doesn't kill Elizabeth. It's Victor that kills Elizabeth. He does kill the brother, but yeah, he's just tossing people off him that are trying to constrain and retain him. So yeah, I mean, like those changes seem very clear that what Guillermo del Toro wants you to take away from this without any illusion is monster good, Victor bad.
Yeah. I will. So I agree with you. I will say the beginning of the movie where he's just folding dudes, trying to get to Victor was very fun. And also none of those guys necessarily deserve to die.
Yeah. We don't know who any of those people are. So we don't care.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah. I agree. I mean, that's a little bit of nuance lost perhaps, but that is kind of what makes this a classic Del Toro story, where it's like, look at the poor innocent, undeserving creature who no one understands, and if they ever do anything bad, it's a misunderstanding, or it's, you know, they didn't know what they were doing or whatever, and you know, I like, which again, it didn't bother me while watching the movie, but then, you know, I kind of step back and I just look at the fact that he does this over and over again. I'm like, you know, I think that like there's a reason why Frankenstein is such a beloved like archetypal story, and it has to do with the fact that the monster is this being that is created and becomes resentful of its creator because of how it's treated, and it's like legitimately resentful. Like this is Roy Batty in Blade Runner. This is well, like every robot story, basically, you know, and I don't mind that Del Toro was to put his spin on it, but it does feel like he lost a little bit of what was like the spark of that thing.
Well, I mean, that's like, there's an argument to be made here, and I know other people have said that, is like, maybe an artist should never get to do their dream project, right? Maybe they've worked on their dream project for so long, there's no way it's ever going to be as good as it can be in their head. And I think, let's be clear here, I think he does ultimately, I think this is a good movie. I ultimately enjoyed this movie. I didn't love it, and that's kind of what I'm reacting to here, is I expected to love it and I didn't love it. But it's like, it is true that he has been telling the story. Like the movie that won him an Oscar is essentially a Frankenstein story. It's not exactly, but I mean the monster was not created there. But it is a version of that story, and he's been telling that again and again and again. And so it's like when finally you get to it in your estimation, yeah, I mean it's like we've seen these themes before, Del Toro. And I struggle. I don't know, like part of. And I think I guess the movie does say this, but like part of the story to me was always he becomes the monster everyone treats him like he is, right? Like that's what happens to the creature in the story, is that everyone treats him like this hideous, disgusting monster that is filled with rage and violence and is nothing else besides that. And so eventually he just becomes that, because society treats you like a monster enough, you become like a monster. And that's one of the themes of the story. And so like that's definitely in here, right? Like I think that is what the opening part is that what he has become in their trek to the Arctic, this back and forth chasing of each other has warped him into exactly what Victor thought he was.
Yeah.
But because we're so sympathetic to the character too, and like, I don't know, maybe subtlety is dead, or maybe we just don't need subtlety anymore. But William in his dying breath looking up at his brother Victor and saying, "You're the monster, brother." It's like, okay. I think we were already there, movie. I don't know if we needed that.
Yeah.
Maybe Victor needed it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think we did. I mean, like this relates to it being super long, in my opinion. I know it's kind of a tenuous relation, but it's like there's so much, there's so little trust in our ability to just comprehend the emotional and thematic content of what we're watching, that it has to be spelled out to us repeatedly. Like that's the thing about that first, the whole part where he's a kid. And even a lot of the bit where he's like talking to that one actor who's always good. You know what I mean.
Who? What? His father?
Christoph Waltz.
Oh.
Christoph Waltz. It's like, look, I love Christoph Waltz. It's not like those scenes were bad scenes. It's just, what is the purpose of those scenes? What are we accomplishing other than retreading this idea, re-communicating the same ideas that we've communicated 3 times in the movie already, and that we're going to communicate a couple more times after the monster is alive. Like I'm not saying I don't like the Christoph Waltz character. It's kind of a cool idea, actually. This guy who funded Frankenstein because he actually wants immortality. That's I think not something that's in the book.
I don't believe so.
But there's a reason why we didn't mention it until now. First of all, I almost forgot about it entirely, and it's because it is so non-essential. It's like, it doesn't really matter where Frankenstein got his money. He's canonically supposed to be like an aristocrat anyway. So
yeah,
there was never. It's an interesting thread in the story, but it's excessive. And the entire introductory story of Frankenstein is excessive. It's all excessive and repetitive, and also just sort of empty. Like, I think I've had this complaint about Del Toro before, where we really like it when a scene does multiple things, or even a line of dialogue can accomplish multiple things. And there were scenes toward the beginning of this movie where I was really conscious of how little was happening in the scene, how this could have been cut. This could just not be in the movie, and you could have just cut over this, and I wouldn't feel anything different. I wouldn't care. And it was very, very often, it was kind of funny because Del Toro has this thing where it's almost like a tick, where it's like the less interesting the scene is, the more active the camera is. Like he's trying to trick you into thinking that this is dynamic by having the camera move around and kind of like be a handheld, kind of moving around and shimmying and coming in and out. And it's like, what's happening is like these two guys are having a kind of meaningless argument that is going to resolve in a predictable way. I don't know. That's really the worst sin of the movie, is there's just too much of this crap. Like, there's a really great movie in there, actually. I love the whole sequence when the monster is hiding in the woods and hiding in the house, hiding in the barn, rather. I guess he's kind of hiding in the wall, whatever. He's learning, he's learning with groundskeeper Filch from Harry Potter. And like that was great stuff. That was great. That was my favorite part of the movie. It worked on me super well.
Yeah.
I actually I think I even loved it, but it's like me loving a piece of a 3-hour movie does not make me love the movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you about the Christoph Waltz character. Is that, I mean, he's great. I love him. I do like. I wish what was going on with him tied back to maybe what the central theming of the story was a little bit more, and then that would make it feel more necessary. Because like, so yeah, like he has syphilis, he's dying, and so he's funding all this stuff because he secretly wants immortal life. He wants to conquer death, just like Victor wants to conquer death. And it seems like the resolution of that moment is this realization, and Victor rejects it out of hand because he's like, no, you're impure. It won't work with you because the syphilis you have has infected your brain, it has infected your blood, it has infected all of that. And so he just dies. And that's the end. And I mean, I guess it's another example of Victor sucks, right? I mean, that ultimately is like the point of it is, hey, doesn't Victor kind of suck? That this old man gave him infinite money, and then the second he asked for something for him, he was like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and this feels like an annoying nitpick on my part, but I'm like, okay, so the monster is made out of the bodies of a bunch of soldiers. Like half of those dudes had syphilis. Come on. Like, or to, to be slightly more serious, some kind of infection.
Yeah.
So like, it just doesn't feel like a credible retort to say, oh no, you have an infection. I can't possibly do that.
No, and he just doesn't want to give him what he wants for some reason.
Right. Then you, right. So like if we step back from it, we say, okay, well, maybe that wasn't his real reason. And then it's like, okay, but the movie didn't really dramatically convey to us what his real reason is. Like, why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't he be willing to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is, I think, a fair complaint here also of what the story does with the Elizabeth relationship as well, right? Especially in this early part of the movie, we go through this whole thing where he is entranced and falling in love with his younger brother's fiance, who just so happens to look exactly like his mom. And we go through a whole thing with that, and to the point where he almost like is getting distracted from the task at hand because he's so infatuated with her. And like, I mean, I find that stuff interesting on its own, but like, I like the parts, like it's everything I say. Like I love Elizabeth with the monster. I love Elizabeth with the creature. Like once the creature comes around and we've gotten to know Elizabeth a little bit and we see how different she is from everyone else. And so a lot of that early stuff lays the groundwork of why she would kind of be immediately enthralled by this creature. But like everything with Victor, I was like, what are we doing here? Like what is the purpose of this at the end of the day? Because maybe it's just like to do a love triangle between Victor, Elizabeth, and the creature. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of have to squint to see it though. Like I think we're supposed to believe that some of the reason for his resentment of the creature is in fact that Elizabeth is likes the creature. I don't even, like it feels like too much to say that she loves the creature. It's, if anything, it's like she sees the creature as a pure innocent in a way that Victor is not capable of, and maybe Victor resents that, or like in many ways, he acts as okay. So he acts toward the creature the way his father acted to him, right? That's the only way
he knows how to raise someone, essentially, right?
And that's why we had this incredibly long beginning part of the movie where Willem Dafoe is his father.
That's Charles Dance.
Yes, I was thinking of a different movie that. Yeah, no, you're right. That's my bad. Charles Dance. That's all setting up this idea. Obviously,
you were thinking of Poor Things, which is a Frankenstein story.
Yeah. No, I absolutely was, and I was like, why was I thinking about Poor Things? That's what kind of hung me up there for a second. But you're right, it is a Frankenstein story. Yes, so Charles Dance is horrible to him, and now he doesn't know how to be kind to this creature, even though this is the thing that he's wanted all this time, and there's something tragic about that. I don't know that we needed that much backstory with Charles Dance. I think we kind of got it. And then, she is like she is like the soft mothering figure. Maybe he sort of resents the creature that like, I did all this work and now you're the one who gets to have the soft mothering figure that I lost. And this is all very subtextual and sort of like, I almost wish there was like more attention to that and less of the setup, like, I don't know. I don't know what I wish. That's the weird thing about the movie is I think he has all these different ideas and it kind of turns into a mush where you're not sure, you overcooked it and now it's all just mush.
Well, it's just like when you are so in love with something, right? Mm-hmm. When you are so in love with this story as Guillermo del Toro is, every single solitary bit of it is the most important thing that has ever existed, right? And maybe you lose perspective a little bit on that. And so like another director who was kind of less entirely infatuated with the story would be like, we could probably lose some of this. We could probably lose some of that. We could cut around this a little bit. But he loves the story so much. So it's like, I can't cut that. That's the most important part of the story. That's what made me love this book. And so I have to do that. And I'm saying this knowing that like half the stuff I'm talking about are stuff that he changed from the book, but you know what I mean? Like he's so clearly in love with this story. There's actually a really interesting metaphor here. And I wonder how Guillermo del Toro feels about this movie now that he's finished it. Uh-huh. Because there is a very Victor Frankenstein-esque idea of this is the thing that Guillermo del Toro has been trying to create for his entire career. And he finally achieves it. He finally does it. And what is Victor Frankenstein's like first thing that happens once he finally achieves this thing he's been working for his whole life? He's like, there's something, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what he says exactly. He's just like, I felt restless. I felt uncertain. It felt unnatural. There's something wrong. There's something not right. I don't feel the way I should feel. I don't feel accomplished in the way I should feel. And also suddenly now I have to take care of this fucking baby. I didn't sign up for that part. Uh-huh. So I do want, like, I think there's a very interesting metaphor there about the act of creating something that you've been working towards your entire life. And maybe this, like, the act of making this movie for Guillermo del Toro was an act of going through the push and pull that Victor Frankenstein experiences throughout this movie, and then that moment of reconciliation at the end is his processing all that. This is pure conjecture. I have no idea, but that moment when I think it's when right after he's led the creature downstairs for the first time, he locks it up, and then he like sits on the stairs and is like, well, now what? Uh-huh. What do I do now? I think specifically having reached the edge of the earth, there was no horizon left. And he just like sits on the stairs and is like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I think that's that's the one part in the movie that I was really fascinated by Victor Frankenstein is that immediate achieving of the dream moment and what his reaction to that achievement is.
Right. He wanted to create life and be as God. He didn't want to actually be a father to the creature.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, I think he decides to kill it sort of in his mind as a mercy, because he's like, I'm not really fit to care for a being like this. I didn't think this far ahead. I didn't anticipate that it would be a moral patient. I just kind of thought of it as a project. Yeah. And I didn't sign up for this, and it's better off if I just kill it. Yeah. Especially because it's unintelligent. Like he's like invested in the idea of like, it's unintelligent, so it doesn't, it's not really going to matter if I kill it because it's basically, an animal.
Yes. Except the movie calls him out on his lie with that, which I deeply love. Yeah. First of all, like he is he's not teaching it. So he's like, just say another word. Why can't you even say another word? Just say another word. And it's like, and then I love the part where we're hearing the story from the creature's perspective, and he's like explaining how he learned what words were. And I was like, oh, Victor never like explained what what a word was.
Right.
And so, but yeah, the caught in his lie moment was he's about to destroy him, and then says, say a word, say any word other than that one damned word, and I'll spare you. And then the creature says, Elizabeth, and he hears it, and he turns, and then he does it anyway. Yeah, I think just kind of the jealousy of the idea of it being unintelligent is an excuse.
Yeah, right. I mean, the funny thing about it is it's like it basically is like a child, and you don't teach a child to speak by talking at it. Like it has to live life. It has to do things. Just by the way, I did figure out why I thought it was Christian Bale. It's because there's a totally different movie coming out later this year called The Bride.
Oh, yes.
Where he is Frankenstein. So I had that image in my head and I conflated it with this movie.
We really love this story. Oh, yeah. That's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about that.
And when I just said Frankenstein, I meant the monster. But anyway.
Well, I've done that 3 times and I expect nobody to call me out on it. So.
Yeah, definitely not.
I will say, and we haven't talked about this yet, I just want to say it. This movie is gorgeous. Looks incredible. This is Guillermo del Toro doing what he does. It's very specific, and like I think he sets it during Victorian era, right? Which I don't think. I think the book was written in the early 1800s, but it's set in the 1850s and 60s, right? So I think he specifically moved it up so he could have these extravagant locales. Like I'm leafing through photos right now, and just like the dramatic, like that one of the opening scenes where his mother is like in red lace and tulle, and like just like with a dramatic train behind her, and like everyone's always wearing like a veil, and of course Mia Goth's Elizabeth has these like peacock feathers always coming down to frame her face. It's all very like dramatic and gothic, and like again, this really Crimson Peaky to me, like the way, especially the tower that he does the experiments in, and the look of the room, and like I think it's awesome. It looks awesome, and I really, really like all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I will say it's so like it's so the way that Del Toro does visuals that such a petty complaint, but it's like, yeah, this is just the way he does things. That doesn't make it less beautiful, but it does make me sort of just view it as like, yeah, that's that's his thing that he does. Yeah,
I mean the underground layer of the creature in the tower is like just a Guillermo del Toro scene. Like let's go through the movies that had those. That's like exactly where the ghost is in The Devil's Backbone, right? Exactly. Right. That's the clay mine in Crimson Peak. Like he just he loves, like as soon as I saw that set, I was like, oh my gosh, he just loves this stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I guess just to get it out of the way, can we go through my list of Del Toro-isms?
Yes, because it's something we have to do every Del Toro film.
And again, it's like, I feel vaguely bad about this because it's like, can't an artist have his thing? But I'm also like, I don't know, do something different. So anyway, mazes, stony dark settings, and labyrinths. Yep, the thing we just described, and probably a few other places scattered in there. That very particular aesthetic of weird creatures. I kept thinking like, yeah, like the way the Frankenstein looks is very much like, the fish creature in Hellboy, or the fish creature in the Fish Creature movie, The Shape of Water.
The Fish Creature movie. Alternate title, The Fish Creature movie. Yeah.
Where like the idea being that it's like this kind of lankiness and I don't know, just a particular visual style. Bugs. I almost was going to say no to this, but butterflies are bugs, and he also
it's a stretch, Matt.
He does butterflies a lot in Crimson Peak.
True.
So he definitely uses butterflies as a kind of bug. I think that a butterfly is a kind of bug. I don't think I'm off base here. Watches, clocks, and clockwork.
Another scene that I laughed out loud at was when the monster hides behind the walls. He is hiding in like the mill gearworks area.
Yeah.
And I saw that gear and I laughed.
Yeah.
Because of you. You've done this to me. It's your fault.
Yep. I almost said to myself, no, I can't think of any large clocks in this movie. Oh, the mill. Yep. I mean, to a degree, the apparatus that he uses for the lightning capturing, it's not literally clockwork, but it's very like mechanical.
It is. I think again, like you're not even hosting all these things as complaints. Like these are just things. Like I think that room, which like the room in which the Frankenstein monster is created, is so iconic in film. I think he does a really great job building a new version of it. I love that giant window. I love all of it.
Yeah, it's fun. The silver apparatus, and it is funny how like he's sort of using these science words, but in ways where you're just like, why would that matter? But but also you're like, of course I don't care about this. It's Frankenstein. Child protagonist or prominent child characters, absolutely. The whole first part of the movie is young little child Frankenstein.
Okay, but is this just like anytime there's a child in the movie, we're going to checkbox this one?
I would say so. I mean, many movies don't have any children in them, and he tends to like having like, you know, a central child performance where the child has to carry some of the weight of the story, not just like there's a child in the background of the shot, you know.
I thought you were going to try to stretch this and make it the creature is the child protagonist, and I was going to not let that happen. So
I mean, now that you said that, I'm tempted to, but no. I think I already get the points because there are important child characters.
Sure.
Next is theme of misfits in an oppressive system.
Nope, there's none of those in this movie at all.
None of that in Frankenstein. And I almost thought that we weren't going to get this one. Horrible damage to faces.
There's so much. He gets shot right in the eye, doesn't he?
Well, yeah. So, okay, Frankenstein gets shot in the face a whole bunch of times and then blown up. His face gets blown up. But I was actually thinking about when he just puts his thumb on Frankenstein's nose and just crushes it in a very vivid and horrific and graphic way. He just does it like to hurt him. So I watched this movie over 2 nights, and the first day of watching it, there wasn't a ton of facial damage, and then all the facial damage was loaded in that last chunk that I watched the second night. So we got everything on the list as always. You know, he knows he's doing this on purpose. Like, okay, Matt, what's the point of doing this? Why do you do this every time? This is annoying. Well, let me tell you. He's doing it on purpose. He has like a template of what he thinks he needs to invoke the feelings and the imagery and the what else, the emotional undertone that he wants to convey.
Sure.
And so he draws from this same toolbox to do those things every time. And I guess on one level, it's like if you're the artist who paints the giant like squares, then like that's who you are. Now you're going to paint a red square, now you're going to paint a blue square, and now maybe you're going to paint like a green square, but then there's like also a yellow square, and that's your thing. And I guess that's all well and good. I far be it from me to like second guess an artist at their craft, but it's so specific in its repetitiveness that it just makes me want to be like, look, I love the way you see the world, and I really actually like your fundamental storytelling sensibility. There's so many of his movies that we had such a great time talking about. Do something really weird and different. Do something that doesn't have any clocks in it for once, or any bugs.
It doesn't have any clocks. It just has a gear.
It has a gear. Do something that, okay, this is a real stretch for him. Do something that doesn't have any dark, stony settings or labyrinths.
I don't think he's ever doing that.
Do something that's set outdoors in a lush forest.
There's a forest. It's just, cold.
Yeah, right. And there's wolves.
Yeah. Are wolves that mean?
I don't know. I have heard so many conflicting things about this, because I've heard that like in the olden times of Europe, that wolves would totally like raid human cities and like do crazy things, but then you also hear like, oh no, wolves are afraid of people. The wolf attacks are incredibly rare, and it's like maybe both things are true. Maybe wolves used to raid human cities, and then we just like killed that out of them over the centuries.
That could be, yeah.
But anyway, I don't know the answer to your question actually.
It's like those fucking wolves, man. Just back off.
Yeah, they're like monsters themselves.
They got in the house.
Yeah.
I did love that line, and maybe that's right from the book of like the wolf doesn't hate the sheep, the hunter doesn't hate the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
They just kill them because of just what they are. That's just, it's really depressing. Poor old creature, Adam.
Yeah.
What do you want to call him?
Poor guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we've been maybe a little bit more harsh than normal. But ultimately, like, I did enjoy this movie. I think I struggled with the parts of it that you struggled with, maybe a little bit less than you, because I generally like Del Toro more, and the visuals kind of carried it for me in a very specific kind of way, where I just really love the look of this movie so much. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I do wonder what a different actor as Victor would have done for me, you know? I like Oscar Isaac fine. I don't mean to be mean to him, but I do wonder, like, I think it's like Guillermo del Toro didn't want to go full into camp, and you could like be really campy with Victor Frankenstein, right? Obviously, like there's been dozens of adaptations that have been very campy with him. Maybe just a little bit more mania. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to put my finger on it and articulate it, because it's like, it's almost like Isaac is going for this like picaresque sort of exaggeration of this archetype, but not as much as you want.
Yeah.
So it's like the worst of both worlds. Like, you don't get the nuance of like a delicately character-driven performance, but you also don't get the extremity of a manic campy performance.
Yeah.
It's just sort of this inert middle ground where it's serviceable, but he's supposed to be the dramatic spine of the whole movie, and because he isn't, then now the creature becomes the dramatic spine of the whole movie, but then that just makes you really annoyed every time Frankenstein is in the scene.
Yeah, I mean the main problem with that is it takes an hour to get to the creature, so you have an hour of your movie where you're just kind of waiting for that. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is like, man, it's this is a weird one to talk about, because so much of this movie I was having fun. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to it, it's like, do I recommend this? I'm like, I guess I recommend it if you're willing to deal with such a slow beginning, because there is some gold in there. Like, there really is. Like, I don't regret watching the movie. I just was so mad for the first 30 minutes. I was like, this, like, I was honestly, for the first 30 minutes, I was like, well, this is going to be me just shitting all over this movie. And Scott's probably going to like it more than me. Just because I know you like Del Toro more than me. And I hate it when one of us doesn't like a movie. And that's just not true. It's not that I didn't like the movie. I just get so annoyed when they waste my time.
Yeah, I get it. I guess I'm pretty sure that the book does not work where it's like like flashbacks and telling stories. I think that structural conceit worked pretty well, with the exception of the fact that I think more than half of the movie is Victor's tale, and maybe we could have cut to the monster's tale a little bit quicker. But I liked the character of the ship captain. There's enough of him to like really kind of see his arc, which I do think is a reversal of the book. I'm pretty sure I read that when Victor meets the captain, he's like, "Oh yeah, you need to go on to the North Pole. Do it. Like, you're just like me." Uh-huh. And in this version of the story, Victor goes, "You fool, you're just like me." Turn back. Maybe the story has a purpose. It can teach you to turn back. And so we have an arc of the captain realizing the error of his ways and turning back before he destroys everyone around him.
I like that.
I did enjoy that. Really good stuff.
I agree. For everything that we said about the structure, which I don't take back, but I will say I really love the impact of, the movie starts with the monster being very monstrous and yelling and screaming. And then from Victor's point of view, we really only see the monster being dumb and brutish. Mm-hmm. And then, again, I don't know exactly what point in time this is. He finally makes his way into the captain's cabin, and in his very, husky but sort of noble and elegant voice, he's like, "You have told your tale. Now I shall tell mine." And you're like, "Oh shit, he can talk." And like that was a great moment, because I didn't know. I mean, I know that's an idea from the book, but I didn't know what color we were going with. Like, are we going to do the monster is actually an intelligent creature version of the story?
Yeah.
So it's played as a pretty effective dramatic reveal in that moment, I thought.
Yeah, and it leads to a great moment at the very end of the story where the captain's men break into the cabin ready to once again try to kill the creature, and the captain just goes, "No, let him go, let him go." So he's like, he's also been changed, and maybe is one of the first people that sees him for what he is and not the monster. So
yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, like, it's a good movie. I like, at the end of this, I understand why this is going to get nominated for the best picture. Like, first of all, I think the Academy really loves Guillermo del Toro, and I understand that. He's an easy guy to love. I think he's great. Every interview I've watched with him seems really great. He's very passionate about his work and the things he creates, and they just really like him. So I don't think it's going to win. I don't think it's going to be particularly close, but yeah, it's a very, very beautiful movie to look at. I think if you are listening to this and haven't seen the movie and are wondering, just like Matt said, if we would recommend it, I think if you like Guillermo del Toro's visuals, I think you will enjoy this movie, is what I'll say.
Yeah. I think, funnily enough, I probably come out on a slight positive recommend, even after all the complaining. It's, I mean, honestly, maybe even part of this is like, I feel like I've lost this fight, like because as you know, Hollywood. The
Guillermo del Toro fight.
No. So actually, the fight against movies being this long, because I know
that's over, my man. I'm sorry.
Right, because I know Hollywood listens to us just like Guillermo del Toro does, and that they're seriously considering my arguments that movies shouldn't be 2.5 hours long routinely. Like, every once in a while, if you have a real sort of special story that really needs 2.5 hours to tell the tale, then I suppose that's fine. But we shouldn't be routinely making 2.5 hours movies. That's just not. Not only is it just generally a bad idea, but in this specific case, it is a bad idea, because there's just long stretches of the movie that are just boring and indulgent is maybe a better word than boring. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I can't just tell everyone, no, you shouldn't see this movie because it's too long, because I would have to say that about like most of the movies that come out these days. And so I guess I'm trying not to be repetitive too much, but I'm just like, this is another one of those, another movie that's too long, but it's got some good stuff in there.
It's 2 minutes shorter than One Battle After Another.
Yep. That movie was also far too long, but
I disagree.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, at least that one wasn't as indulgent. Like, it's all of its pieces, I think, were necessary. Whereas this one, I don't know if I can say the same.
Yeah, I know that's fair. So we do not have, when we did Deconstructing Guillermo del Toro, we originally ranked them personally and did not do like a cooperative ranking. So we usually, this is an Oscars prep series, but it is also kind of a Deconstructing Directors Addendum series. So I'm curious, in your personal list, I guess maybe just read your top 5 and then tell me if it would fall in that top 5 or not.
Sure. Yeah, this is fun. So my top 5, I'll start from the 5th and go upward. Mm-hmm. My 5th favorite was Kronos, followed by The Devil's Backbone, then Pan's Labyrinth, then The Shape of Water, and then in number 1, I actually had Pinocchio, which feels like recency bias because I mean, I don't remember that movie super well because we only watched it the one time. I mean, maybe it was that great. I just don't remember loving it that much. That's fine though. Would this be
go back
in the top
and listen
5?
to the episode and see if you think that?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. This might be in the top 5, although it would break my heart because I'd have to put it above Blade 2, which I put at number 6. I think it's probably a better movie than, it might be comparable to Pan's Labyrinth to me. So rather than placing it exactly, I'll just kind of say second or third or fourth, I'll say.
So it is going to go in the top 5. Wow.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, part of that. Okay, but you see, the thing about my list is that so many of his movies were getting on my nerves that I just end up not liking them very much. But this one, yes, I think I did like it on the whole, and I'll put it in the top 5. Yeah.
My top 5 are Crimson Peak, The Devil's Backbone, Pinocchio, The Shape of Water, and Pan's Labyrinth. So, I must have really liked Pinocchio as well. Doesn't surprise me. It's stop motion animation. I love that. I do have vague memories of really, really loving that movie. But I am also surprised to see it in my top 5. Oh man. I don't know, because like if I put it in my top 5, I have to knock out Crimson Peak. And I really enjoyed Crimson Peak. So I'm going to put it at 6 right now. That's what I'm going to do.
I think
which is weird because, like, if you had listened to this conversation, you would say, "Man, Scott liked this movie way more than Matt," but you put it higher on your list than I did.
Right, but that's because I like all of his other movies less than you do.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the more I think about it, the more the less surprised I am that we put Pinocchio so high, because I feel like it didn't do all the stuff that I normally don't like, and it did a lot of good stuff. Anyway, cool.
My big surprise for you is actually how much you love Shape of Water, because I think I wrote a story in my head that by the time we got to that movie, you were so sick of Guillermo del Toro that you just didn't enjoy that movie at all.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. I also can't possibly quantify why I put some of these movies where I put them. It is. It's like, yeah, okay, Mimic is terrible. It belongs at the bottom, but Pinocchio, I remember liking. I don't have any problems with it. I think one thing that's kind of interesting is we both put Devil's Backbone quite high, which is one of his earliest movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just kind of a nice, constrained, contained, methodical, careful movie. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's a solid movie. I think I still feel that way about it.
Yeah, I agree. I really like that movie. Happy it's still in my top 5. Sorry, Frankenstein, you're just out. You're just out.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is our second film, Frankenstein. Gee, I hope that one gets nominated, or else this is going to look really awkward. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. We'll just have to relabel this episode a deconstructing Del Toro addendum episode.
Yeah. If you are listening to this in the future and you see it doesn't say Oscars ketchup in the title anymore, you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident though. So next week we are going to do another Netflix film that I'm pretty confident is going to be nominated, but not 100%. And that is going to be a film called Train Dreams. It's available right now on Netflix. Matt, it is under 2 hours. So just want to tell you that.
Okay.
And I think it's supposed to be really wonderful. So I'm actually really, really looking forward to this one. It also, the next time people hear us on this podcast, the Oscar nominations will be out. So we will know. You and I will not. Well, I think we're recording on Thursday. So yeah, we will know when we sit down to record if we were right or wrong about these first 3 movies.
All right. Cool.
So yeah, exciting. Next week we'll get into Train Dreams, and then we'll move on from there. All right, Matt, before we go, we got some breaking Star Wars news. I know we're the place you come for Star Wars news, everyone. But there's Star Wars news.
Tell me.
The most important thing in the world just happened.
Okay. Please go on. I can't wait to hear it.
Kathleen Kennedy is out at Lucasfilm. She is no longer the president of Lucasfilm, and she is being replaced, Matt, by Dave Filoni.
Oh, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, so this was kind of, I feel like I heard that this change was coming. So I should say that it's Dave Filoni and Lin-Manuel Brennan. So I think they are like in a president role. So two people taking over for one, a master and apprentice.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I found this really interesting. First of all, I think it's interesting because I feel like Kathleen Kennedy, who has been a very famous and successful producer for years and years and years and years before she took over Lucasfilm, I think was improperly maligned for the failures of the Disney Star Wars stuff. Like, I feel like she became the scapegoat for it. And probably not a small percentage of that has to do with the fact that she's a woman, you know?
Yeah.
But it is undoubtedly true that under the direction of Disney, Star Wars stuff has struggled, right? I mean, that's just true.
Yeah. I mean, so I think that you and I have completely avoided the Sarlacc pit of complaining about Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know. I don't even remember saying her name on the Doofcast ever because it just never seemed important to me. I like, to me, this is my, take obviously, but it's like the Kathleen Kennedy Disney Marvel movies were basically her giving people a lot of rope.
Yeah.
And then some of those people hanged themselves with that rope and just didn't do a good job. And then some of those people were named Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen, or doesn't happen without the Kathleen Kennedy Disney philosophy of make the cool thing that you want to make the way you want to make it. And yeah, there were a lot of bad movies in there, but like Andor was also in there, so I can never like hold that against her, right?
I would trade a dozen bad Star Wars movies if it meant we got Andor.
100%. So her being out, I'm definitely not. I guess I just don't feel very much about it one way or the other. I also don't. I'm not super plugged into all this stuff. So my sense of like who is Dave Filoni, it's like he's kind of the guy behind a lot of the like cartoons, like the Clone Wars stuff and the various of those things, and he's sort of a guardian of the canon in that way. So maybe under his stern rule, there will be more of a return to like fundamentals of Star Wars canon. Maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe that'll be awful. I don't know. I know a lot of people like his stuff. I'm less familiar with it.
I think there's a lot of Star Wars fans that are celebrating today. Not a small percentage of them because they're sexist and thought Kathleen Kennedy was evil, but there's a lot of perfectly rational people that just really like the stuff Dave Filoni made that are probably really excited about the fact that Star Wars is going to go in his direction. I am with you where I'm like, I don't know. I guess I liked The Mandalorian the first season and a little bit of the second season, and that was pretty much it. I feel like, so to use a callback, I feel like how I would feel if today it was announced that Guillermo del Toro has taken over Frankenfilm.
Right.
Where I would be like, okay, well, he really likes this.
Right.
And Dave Filoni loves Star Wars, you can tell. Really loves it. And part of me wonders, does he love it too much? Is it too sacred to him? And I don't know, right? I mean, we'll see. I think an interesting thing in this is how the Mandalorian and Grogu film ends up being. If it's like a good, fun movie, maybe I'll feel a lot better about this than I do right now.
Yeah. just to be clear, does he have input into? I guess he executive produced it. So yeah,
What?
He has The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wasn't 100% sure what he was involved in and not involved in.
I believe all of the TV stuff, with the exception of Andor, is essentially his baby. He did the Ahsoka show. He did The Mandalorian. He did, as you mentioned, the Clone Wars and Rebels. He did The Bad Batch, Boba Fett. Fucking Boba Fett shit. All of that was his. So, I mean, that's a lot of stuff, and a lot of people like that stuff. So,
okay, but you're telling me the one thing that I really loved out of everything is the one thing he had nothing to do with.
Correct.
And okay.
And I think, to your point, would not have happened had he been in charge. Yeah. Right? I mean, we can play what ifs all day with this, right? But like, I think you are absolutely correct that the Kathleen Kennedy Disney mantra of give everyone Star Wars and let them do what they want is what made Andor happen. And that is not how Filoni is going to be running this company. Yeah.
Right. I think, just to be like selfish, like you and we're very much the type of elder millennial who, for whom the original trilogy is sacred and the prequels are a sort of heresy. And there are like really like, that is a weird position to people who are even a few years younger than us.
Sure.
For people a few years younger than us, all those movies are like equally canon and they love them all. And for me to say like the idea of midi-chlorians being in something is just incredibly annoying. They're just like, I don't see why that would be annoying to you when like Ewoks are not annoying to you. It's like, yeah, it's arbitrary. It's literally because of when I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
So that being said, I feel like Filoni is the kind of guy who has really like embraced in totality all of the prequel stuff in a way that I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't care about it. Clone Troopers are not interesting to me. Again, it's fine if you like Clone Troopers. I just don't. So whatever, do your thing. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. That they definitely have struggled. You're correct that they have struggled, and if nothing else, it's going to be a new direction, and maybe we'll get some dynamics that are novel, and something new and interesting will come out of it. So I'm kind of cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, he also strikes me as the type of person that read all the expanded universe books, and I know you read some of them, but like, to give an anecdote for people, I got to watch Star Wars with my son the other day, which was remarkable, and I loved it to death, and he loved the movie. And we've also watched Empire Strikes Back, and he loved that one too. This has been great. I can't wait to watch the third one with him. But like, he was asking 10,000 questions as children do, and one of the questions he asked was, why is there a monster in the trash compactor room? And so I sent a message to Matt that was like, why is there a monster in the trash compactor room? And Matt immediately sent me an article where not only does the trash compactor have a race name and a whole backstory, but it has a name. It is a sentient being with a name. And I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid. And fair or not, I associate like the Dave Filoni level of Star Wars fandom with the fact that there's a fucking name for the monster that was in the trash compactor room. Yeah.
Now there's going to be a Dianoga Jedi in the Dave Filoni movies. Just you wait. I mean, the funny thing is, I know what a Dianoga is because they were a monster you had to fight in the Shadows of the Empire video game on the N64. So
I played that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I do. I love that game, though. I love that game because the main character is just Han Solo, but cooler. and like shamelessly.
Yeah. We can't make him Han Solo.
Yeah.
But we didn't get the likeness to. Or is Harrison Ford in that game at all?
I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it because it's not like they did like real like voiceover stuff in the N64 days. I don't think.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know, man. I look forward to seeing what Star Wars will become, even if I'm watching from like a further and further distance as it moves towards whatever that is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
But we got Andor. You know what I mean?
We did. We got two seasons. It ended. It was complete. It was perfect. I really cannot complain. I really don't care what they do to it now. If we get awesome stuff out of it, great. If not, hey, we got Andor.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that is all we had. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. So yeah, let us know. What do you think about Dave Filoni taking over for Star Wars? How are you feeling about Star Wars right now? And also, what do you think about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein? Let us know. If you have any opinions on any of that, make sure you reach out to us via email, doofmedia@gmail.com, on X @doofmedia, on Instagram @doofmedia, on Reddit, reddit.com/r/doofmedia.
Yeah, and if you're not already subscribed to this podcast, we encourage you to subscribe and ensure you never miss an episode. You can find us on all of the major podcasting platforms.
And if you want to support us, please consider becoming a patron of Doof Media. Head on over to patreon.com/doofmedia and subscribe at any of the available levels. As we said last week, we were also just using Patreon as the place to hear from us and to keep up with us. So if you cannot support financially, but still want to do that, you can head on over to Patreon and subscribe at the free level, which is available right now. And that way you will make sure you never miss any updates on scheduling, stuff that's going on, or maybe I just had to jot down some feelings about. I tried to jot down some feelings about the Golden Globes this week, because the Golden Globes are on Sunday. I tried to jot down some feelings on Patreon for our subscribers, and I got like 3 paragraphs in, and it was so negative and angry. I just said, I can't release this. I can't do it. So I just stopped. Short version for everyone curious. I thought the podcast award was really stupid, and I thought the Golden Globes are very silly. That's my, so you could, maybe one day I'll feel positive enough about something that I won't feel bad hitting publish on Patreon, and you can hear what we think about stuff that we're not covering on this show or other shows.
Yeah, I will say I managed not to hear about the podcast awards until you mentioned it to me, and then when I looked into it, I definitely rolled my eyes so hard that I hurt myself. So
why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Why do we do this?
I generally don't know.
Anyway, that's patreon.com/doofmedia. Please head on over there and subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 total subs across the paid and the free level. So if you could help us get there, that'd be great.
Yeah. Also, we'd appreciate it if you could give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Each review helps us get more exposure and introduces new people to the content that we make here.
All right, folks, that is going to do it. We hope you all have a good weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week for Train Dreams, movie number 3 that's going to be nominated for Best Picture. And I guess we'll talk about the nominees next week as well, because we'll know those. So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you then.
Bye.
My name is Doof, and you'll do what I say. My name is Doof, and you'll do what I say.